let's continue with do's and don'ts. Be a good dude. Just put out. Let's say you get selected. Unlikely, but let's say you do get selected, right? Sorry. Statistically unlikely.
Listen, do another PMA episode after this.
Yeah, we really are.
None of you are going to make it. Be positive. Be positive, guys. Yeah.
So you're in the pipeline now, right? You get out of A&S, you get selected, you get through that pre-dive, and you're starting to hit this pipeline. Number one, be focused. Okay. You're there for a job every single day. TDY means temporary duty. It means you're somewhere else, but you're still on the job, right? So this is going to be your first taste of going TDY and going to different spots in America and meeting new groups of people. So you're going to meet new teammates. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to interact with different folks. Those bases, it's not just like you're the only show in town, right? So you're going to have to interact with new folks and different people. These bases that you're going to, I'm going to give you a word of caution. When you go to Panama City and you go to NDSTC, you are not the first PJ student they've ever met. And by the way, they've probably met a PJ student or a pipeline student that they didn't like, and they don't have a great taste in their mouth. So there may be a little bit of toxicity coming your way. The best thing that you can do is remember, you're representing yourself, you're representing your specific career field, and you're really representing AppSpec War as a whole. So just keep that in mind. A little bit of humility goes a long way. Maybe you don't need to talk about work all the time. You don't need to lie to people. Oh, we're the Air Force lumberjack team. Yuck, 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 yuck. Quit it.
Hilarious.
Oh, I'm a spaceship door gunner. I don't want to talk about work. Like, doing that just leads to more follow-on questions. If you just go, yeah, I'm in a pipeline. I'm in a tech school. It's for AppSpec War. And then just go on with life. It's probably the cleanest way to do it.
Okay. Also have fun. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point in the pipeline, you need to have a good time.
Yes.
And it is going to be a good time. And so, like, if you're that person that, like, wants to have a good time and then you're just, like, being inauthentic and be like, no, I'm going to stay super focused the whole time and burn myself out so that by the time I get to my apprentice course, everybody hates me. And also I don't have the energy to keep going. Like, relax a little bit, let it all in. But just don't make any of those huge mistakes. Don't drink and drive and stay away from white powders.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
For sure.
Stay away from that booger sugar.
Columbia marching powder? No, thank you. That's what you're going to say. You're going to say, up with hope, down with dope.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that'll get you kicked out. And it's a huge waste of your time in the pipeline if you make one of those bad choices. And this can be disciplinary. This can be not prioritizing what you're supposed to be doing, like studying. Like, there's a huge academic requirement here. You really are going to have to devote a lot of your time to studying and making sure that you're happening. And oh, by the way, life doesn't stop. You're going to have these life stressors of family and interpersonal, conflict and all these other things that you're going to have to deal with. So it really is a stressful time, but it's also a fun time. Like Trent mentioned, the way of storytelling goes like this. When you're in the pipeline, every story is about assessment and selection. When you're out of the pipeline and you're your first duty station, every story is about all the fun stories in the pipeline. And then you hit your first deployment. And then for like the next 5 years, every story is about deployment and whatever else. And then after that, it goes back to pipeline stories. And you're just telling stories about, your friends and, those times where, I distinctly remember, being in Florida during our water ops phase, and we, no kidding, had to rent a rider truck because it was cheaper than trying to get our own vehicles. So we would rent a rider truck. We would get jocked up, we'd get JMPI'd, and then driving over to the airfield, we would pile in the back of, no kidding, this moving van. And I remember just sweating your absolute face off in a static line shoot, laughing like idiots with 15 of my closest friends in the back of a rider truck in Florida, because that's just ridiculous. That's the silliest thing. It is.
Some of the best stories or the funniest stories, or even just best kind of like feel good moments, are stupid things like that. That's just, it's silly, right? But there's something real, that connectiveness that you feel with those dudes. And we've talked about it before. And you're, on the back of a plane, or you're in a helicopter and you're about to jump out in the pitch black, or you're about to go hit a target or something like that. Like, you just kind of look around and like, man, this is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with pipeline pitfalls and do's and don'ts of the pipeline, but it's a comment that I had to share.